Welcome back to Dawn of the Dead Thursday. This is Jace, and this episode is going to focus on some of my magazine collection. My favorite magazines to collect are basically the ones from 79 to 80, basically around the time that Dawn of the Dead was released in the US. The last episode featured the official Dawn of the Dead poster book, which was designed and published by Bob Michelucci, and we're going to kind of continue on that thread here first. We have Questar number 3, which was also put out by Bob Michelucci's company. It features a short article on Dawn of the Dead, and there's also an ad for the poster book in this magazine. Questar 4 has an extensive interview with George Romero. There's also a Tom Savini article and a small snippet from Bob Michelucci himself where he talks about his experiences being the scope zombie on Dawn of the Dead. The back cover also features an ad for the poster book. One of the things I like about the early articles, the ones from US magazines from 1979 to 1980, is that Dawn of the Dead was really new. George Romero was known, but not as he was in later years. And so the interviews are very interesting. George, of course, is very candid in sharing his experiences. He makes some references to wanting to work with a studio and what that would be like. It's interesting because Romero was known for being a kind of a renegade, someone who worked outside of the Hollywood system. And it seems that that really worked for him well. Once he started working with the studios, everything he made or was trying to make seemed to go into developmental hell. I mean, he made some studio pictures, stuff like Creepshow, Land of the Dead, The Dark Half, but his independent films were much more successful creatively. This issue of Fantastic Films features a great interview with George Romero. I've noticed around this time that in a lot of the interviews, George was mentioned being called a pornographer. And I think that was in reference to Dawn of the Dead being released without a rating. which was basically like a X rating, where there were issues of when it could be advertised, where it could be advertised, not on TV, not in a lot of newspapers. So I think that was a sore spot for him. Cinemacbre is a tiny magazine, probably tiny as far as publishing too. It features a small article on Dawn of the Dead called Dawn of the Dead: The Morning After. Ares magazine is an interesting one. It's focused on role-playing games, and so this article on the Dawn of the Dead board game has modified rules to make the actual board game a little bit more like the movie. Starlog number 21 features a nice interview with George Romero. It's interesting because they state that he was 38 at the time of the interview. There's a reference to Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, which I found he was referencing quite a bit during this time. Films in Review has a very short review of Dawn of the Dead. I'd recommend this only for completists. I don't think it's an expensive magazine to get, but there's no pictures and not really much content. Famous Monsters number 166 is a big one. At the time, Famous Monsters, which was one of my favorite magazines when I was little, was really focused on the Star Wars movies. Star Wars and Superman. They definitely moved more to sci-fi, so Dawn of the Dead was kind of an interesting thing for them to cover at that time. Fangoria number 1 is probably the most expensive magazine in my collection. I recommend to only get this magazine if you could find a really good deal on it. It's cool because it's the first interview with Tom Savini in Fangoria. He later on became kind of a superstar slash demigod in Fangoria. That about wraps up this episode. Thanks for watching as always. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm slowly building my way up to episode 100, which at this time is not really clear as far as what I'm going to do. Thanks again. Oh, and I almost forgot. Rolling Stone magazine has an I Was the Zombie article that has a lot of rare photos. Really entertaining article. I highly recommend it. It's not expensive to pick up. My copy was really beat up and I got it for maybe $10. I'm going to reference each issue number in the show notes. So good luck in tracking them down. Don't pay too much for them.